Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I am filming in my boyfriend's room, which is why there's a bunch of lightsabers in the back. So today's video is going to be all about creative block and tips on how to overcome it. And these tips have worked for me in my years of being an artist, and I just wanted to share them with you today. So as of lately, whenever I find myself in a creative block, it's usually linked to creative burnout. I have this habit where I kind of just will make a ton of pieces all at once and then burn out almost completely. And then I don't want to create, I don't have any ideas for anything new, and I just have to wait for the motivation and the inspiration to come back to me. This is something that I'm still learning to deal with because it is a relatively new phenomenon. I would say within the last year or so. So whenever I kind of reach this phase where I'm in a creative block and I'm dealing with creative burnout, I usually turn to self-care. This might sound cliche, but self-care is actually a pretty big part of my daily routine. And I'm not talking taking a bath with a bath bomb and giving myself a full facial and all the Instagram worthy crap. I'm talking just making sure that I'm drinking enough water, that I'm washing my face twice a day, taking the time to slow down and check in with myself. Self-care doesn't have to be this huge theatrical event. It can just be you tuning in, reflecting, just kind of doing small things to take care of yourself. And I found that this actually really helps bring me back into the flow of making art again. So typically that's what I usually turn towards as of lately. Let's get into some real tips on what you can do if you're facing creative block. If you're not like me and you don't make art on the regular, and you kind of want to overcome that. So I'm going to start off with a really important tip that is something that I'm still working on, and that is to stay off of Instagram and social media, where you can look at other artists and what they're working on. The worst thing that you could do for yourself in the middle of a creative block is compare yourself to other artists. And I have definitely fallen into this habit before where I don't know what to create and I go on Instagram and I look at all these artists just doing amazing things and I feel even worse about myself. You want to try to avoid that. I found that big social media platforms like that, where it's really easy to stumble upon an artist's page like Instagram, can be really harmful. When you compare yourself to other artists, it can lower your motivation and actually prolong creative block. At least that's what I've found. So staying away from platforms like that and just taking care of yourself and not comparing yourself to others is really going to help you. Something that has definitely worked for me on more than one occasion is exploring other hobbies. Typically I get really deep into artwork and it's really super intense, and when I burn out, I don't know what to do with myself and I neglect all my other hobbies, everything else that interests me. And this can literally just be anything. And sometimes if you work on your other hobbies or whatever else that you are interested in, it can inspire you to create again. Like if you're really into hiking, going out in nature, doing that kind of stuff, nature in itself is such a focal point of inspiration. You'll hear a lot of artists talking about how they're inspired by nature. Sometimes I like to think of creativity as like its own muscle. Now, if you're working out every single day and you're not giving your body a rest, you can really hurt yourself. And sometimes if you just are constantly creating things, burnout is sort of like your brain telling you to just take a deep breath and slow down and do something else, to take a rest day. So working on other hobbies is a great way to give yourself a rest day or several rest days. So kind of along the same lines of my last point, something that has really helped me in the past, more than once definitely, is trying a different medium. If you find yourself making art in one specific medium, whether it's like watercolor or acrylic or pencil or whatever it may be, try working with a different medium. And even better, bonus points, if it's a medium you've never tried before. You can take a trip to the art store and look at all of the different art supplies and see what stands out to you. You'll find that working with something new can really get the creative juices flowing again. And even if you don't end up liking what you make, it's still something that you made. And you can always look back on it, you can always keep practicing in that medium and getting better. You might learn something new about yourself. So something I want to mention in this video, something that has really helped me grow as an artist and really helped me get into this sort of habit of creating regularly. I used to not paint or draw as much as I do now. I used to make like a handful of pieces a year, if that, sometimes none at all. And I would still call myself an artist because I knew that's what I wanted to do with my life, but I wasn't making anything. And if you're like me and you need to like get past that point, here is something that I did personally that helped me and is really tough, but it's worth it. And this is something that I lovingly refer to as creative stamina. And building creative stamina is super important. I found that getting into the habit of drawing something every day, even if it's just like a little doodle or whatever, it makes a huge difference. I used to get super tired after creating a new piece and not want to make anything else for like a long time. And I had sketchbooks that I would draw in, but like even drawing something, like filling up a page was like exhausting. And so if you're like that, this is something you might want to consider trying. So how I did this was I went and I got a new sketchbook. Sometimes a clean slate is all you need. And this doesn't need to be like a super fancy sketchbook. I got like a little one from Blick. I got a hardcover because I was still in college and all of my other books and stuff in my bag were like, I didn't want it to like ruin the edges. But you can just get like a notebook from the store. It doesn't need to be anything fancy, but the biggest thing is you take it everywhere you go. I took my sketchbook with me everywhere. And when I was building my creative stamina, I worked 2 jobs. I worked roughly 55 hours a week, and I still found the time to draw in my sketchbook every single day. I still found the time to make artwork all the time. So what you're going to want to do is take your sketchbook everywhere you go, and any chance that you get throughout the day, whether you're at work and you're on break for like 15 minutes, or you're in between classes, or you just have some downtime, pull out your sketchbook and doodle. Don't worry about making a beautiful, like, fully rendered piece in your sketchbook. A sketchbook is sort of a place where you can just do whatever you want. I know that I have been in that sort of rut where I didn't want to work in a sketchbook if it wasn't a perfect piece of work. And that's something that I had to push through myself, and it's something that you're gonna have to as well. And this is also kind of why I recommend just getting a new sketchbook or a notebook that you won't feel bad if you ruin it. But doodle in it. Just a little heart, little face, whatever it is. Get used to drawing something every day, and you'll find that you're just slowly building your creative stamina, and you can start drawing more. So once you reach the point where you can draw every day and it doesn't feel uncomfortable and you're getting into the sort of groove, you're getting into the habit of drawing every day, the next thing that I would recommend for building stamina is learning to draw something difficult. And this is going to be so hard. Pushing yourself to doodle something every day is one thing, but learning how to draw something that you don't know how to draw is even harder. For me, I learned how to draw hands. I could never draw hands for the life of me. And I finally just sat down and learned how to draw hands, and it sucked and it was the worst, but now I can draw hands. You'll find that learning to draw something difficult, something new, is going to actually help you create more complex pieces of work in the future. And this doesn't have to be anything, like, it doesn't have to be hands. It literally can just be whatever you want. Anything that you were like, I want to learn how to draw this, but it seems really difficult and I can't do it from my brain. You just gotta try. And I promise you, when you learn to draw new things, it's actually going to help you so much. Building creative stamina is going to help you create more and not be stuck in a rut in creative block for long periods of time. What I personally did was I went from just doodling in a sketchbook to painting new pieces all the time. And that is kind of a big jump, but it starts with like starting a new piece, painting a little bit every day until it's completed, and then I would just pull out a new sheet of paper and start all over again. And this brings me to my last really important point. We live in the age of social media, and the this is kind of gonna loop back to the first point that I made. But it's so easy to get caught up in what other people are doing, and it's really easy to get caught up in posting all the stuff that you make and trying to fit into an aesthetic. Don't make art for the sake of posting it online. I definitely had a huge problem with this year. I made so many pieces of work that I don't want to keep them. I just made them for people to buy and for me to post on the internet and just to make money off of. And that's not where you want to go with your work. It's kind of taken me several months to get out of that sort of rut. I'm learning to just go back into my sketchbook and start all over and learning things that I want to draw all over again. And that's okay. You can start anywhere, and it's okay to go back. It's okay to take a few steps backwards if you need to. But don't make art just to post on Instagram or Twitter or just social media. You'll find that really hurts your sense of creativity. It's going to hurt just your feelings if you don't get a whole lot of likes on it. It raises your expectations an unnecessary amount. And it's okay to be proud of your work and to post it, but make art from the heart first before you consider sharing it online. So I know this wasn't a very long video. I tried to think of some really good, strong tips for you to use, and I hope that you go out into the world and use this advice that I have given you. Being an artist is really hard, and especially in the age of social media, we are so used to consuming other people's work, and I have a huge problem with it. Making art can be really intimidating, especially if we all feel the need to post it online or whatever it may be. So just remember to take care of yourself, and if you're stuck in a creative block, just don't push it. Don't force creativity. Take the time to learn how to draw new things, to do studies in your sketchbook, to doodle whatever you want. Sometimes you just have to stop the noise that's going on in your head and just flow. Anyway, I hope this was informative for you, and if you have any other questions, please leave them in the comments below. I'm going to be posting some more videos, hopefully this month. I've been really bad at posting videos on this channel, I know. You don't gotta remind me. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.